Your life will not change when people start believing in you. It will change when your old self can no longer recognize the person you have become. What if the biggest thing holding you back is not your job, your age, your past, or your luck? What if it is the version of you that keeps making the same choices every single day? Most people want a new life, but they protect the same habits, the same thinking, and the same comfort that created the life they already have. Then they wonder why nothing changes. This video is about one decision that can completely change your future. It is about forcing yourself to think differently, work differently, spend your time differently, and live by higher standards until the old version of you disappears. You will learn why real change starts in your daily actions, how to stop going back to old habits, and how to build a mindset that makes success feel normal. Stay with this message, because by the end, you will understand that becoming unrecognizable is not about changing your face. It is about changing your life so completely that even you will be proud of the person you become. Chapter 1. Decide you will never go back again. There comes a moment in life when you have to make a decision that changes everything. Not a decision you talk about, not a decision you write down and forget a week later. A decision that becomes part of the way you live. The decision is simple. You will never go back again. Most people do not stay where they are because they lack ability. They stay there because they keep giving themselves permission to return to old habits. They promise to wake up early, then sleep in. They promise to save money, then spend it on things they do not need. They promise to improve, then wait for a better day. The problem is not a lack of opportunity. The problem is keeping the door open for the old life. If you truly want to become unrecognizable, the first step is not learning something new. The first step is closing the door behind you. Stop giving yourself an easy way back. Stop saying, if this gets hard, I will return to the way I used to live. That sentence has stolen years from many people. Think about the person you have been. Think about the excuses you have repeated. Think about the promises you made to yourself that were never finished. Those moments were painful. You know how disappointment feels. You know what it is like to lie in bed at night knowing you could have done more. You know the feeling of looking at another week that passed without real progress. Those feelings are not your enemy. They are reminders that your life is asking for something better. A better life begins when your standards become stronger than your excuses. Every morning you have a choice. You can wake up and follow your feelings, or you can wake up and follow your decision. Feelings change every day. Decisions build your future. There will be mornings when your body feels tired. There will be evenings when your mind tells you that missing one day does not matter. That voice sounds reasonable because it wants comfort. But comfort has never built confidence. Confidence grows every time you keep a promise to yourself. The greatest person you will ever need to convince is the one looking back at you in the mirror. Other people may doubt you. They may laugh when you start changing. Some may even expect you to fail because they remember the old version of you. Do not waste your energy trying to change their opinion. Change your daily actions. People eventually believe what they see again and again. Success is not created in one exciting moment. It is built in quiet moments that nobody celebrates. It is built when you choose to read instead of wasting another hour. It is built when you finish the work even though nobody is watching. It is built when you keep going after the excitement disappears. Those small choices begin to shape a completely different person. Many people wait until they feel confident before they act. That is backwards. Action comes first. Confidence comes later. Every difficult thing you finish tells your mind, I am becoming someone stronger. That message becomes part of your identity. Slowly you stop seeing yourself as someone who quits. You begin seeing yourself as someone who finishes. Do not be surprised if your circle changes. Growth often changes conversations. You become less interested in complaining and more interested in improving. You stop looking for approval because your focus is on progress. You stop comparing yourself with everyone else because your attention is on becoming better than you were yesterday. That shift changes the direction of your life. Remember this: nobody else can make this decision for you. Family cannot do it. Friends cannot do it. Motivation cannot do it. Videos cannot do it. Books cannot do it. They can encourage you, but they cannot replace your commitment. Your future is waiting for one person to stand up and say, "I am done living like this." From this day forward, protect your decision. When the old habits call you back, remember why you started. When the easy choice appears, remember the life you want. When progress feels slow, remember that every strong person was once a beginner who refused to stop. One day you will look back and realize the biggest victory was not earning more money or receiving more praise. The biggest victory was becoming someone you never thought you could become. That is what happens when you decide you will never go back again. Your face may look the same, your name may stay the same, but your discipline, your character, your confidence, your daily choices, and your future become so different that the old version of you no longer has control. That is where real transformation begins, and that is how you force yourself to become unrecognizable. Chapter 2. Leave the life that keeps you small. There is a quiet decision that many people make without ever saying it out loud. They decide to stay where they are because it feels familiar. They keep the same routine, the same conversations, the same excuses, and the same expectations. Years pass, but very little changes. They are not trapped by life. They are trapped by what has become comfortable. If you want to become unrecognizable, there comes a point when you must leave the life that keeps you small. A small life is not measured by your income or where you live. It is measured by how much of your potential you leave unused. It is measured by the dreams you continue to delay. It is measured by the opportunities you ignore because you are afraid something might not work. Every time fear makes your decisions, your future becomes smaller than it should be. Pay attention to your daily routine. Does it move you forward, or does it simply help another day pass? Many people wake up, hurry through the day, come home tired, spend hours scrolling through their phone, promise themselves tomorrow will be different, and repeat the same cycle. After a while, that routine begins to feel normal, but normal is not always healthy. Normal is not always helping you grow. Growth asks you to become uncomfortable in simple ways. It asks you to wake up with purpose instead of waiting for motivation. It asks you to finish work that does not feel exciting. It asks you to read something that improves your thinking instead of feeding your distractions. These choices are not dramatic, they are ordinary, yet they quietly change the direction of a person's life. You cannot expect a different future while protecting every old habit. Every habit has a destination. Some habits lead to confidence, others lead to regret. Every evening you are placing another small piece into tomorrow. The question is simple. Are you building a life you are proud of, or are you building another reason to feel disappointed? One of the hardest things to leave behind is the need for other people's approval. Too many people make choices based on what friends might think, what family might say, or what strangers might post online. That way of living slowly steals your identity. You stop asking what is right for your future and start asking what will make everyone else comfortable. A person who lives for approval rarely discovers what they are truly capable of becoming. There will be people who do not understand your change. They may say you have become too serious. They may wonder why you spend more time learning than entertaining yourself. They may question why your priorities have changed. Do not become angry with them. Simply understand that not everyone wants the same future you want. Your responsibility is not to convince them. Your responsibility is to stay faithful to the direction you have chosen. Sometimes the life that keeps you small is not a place. It is a way of thinking. It is believing you have already missed your chance. It is believing you are too old or too young. It is believing someone else has advantages you will never have. Those thoughts quietly become limits. They stop action before action even begins. The truth is that your next decision matters far more than your last mistake. Look carefully at the words you speak to yourself. If you constantly say, "This is just who I am," you close the door on improvement. Character is strengthened by choices, not by labels. Every day gives you another opportunity to respond differently, think differently, and act differently. You are not required to repeat yesterday simply because it happened. Success has a simple habit. It rewards people who stay consistent when nobody is paying attention. The extra hour you spend learning, the promise you keep to yourself, the workout you finish, the money you decide not to waste, the difficult conversation you choose to have with honesty, these moments rarely receive applause, but they slowly build a person with greater discipline and greater self-respect. Do not underestimate the power of changing your environment. Spend more time around people who challenge your thinking. Read books that encourage responsibility. Listen to ideas that push you toward action instead of comfort. Your mind is shaped by what you repeatedly allow into it. If you surround yourself with excuses, excuses become normal. If you surround yourself with growth, growth becomes natural. There is something deeply satisfying about ending the day knowing you respected your own standards. You may still have problems, you may still have goals you have not reached, but there is peace in knowing you moved forward instead of standing still. That feeling cannot be purchased. It is earned through daily choices. Your future is asking for a version of you that has not fully appeared yet. That version will not arrive by accident. It will appear every time you walk away from habits that waste your time, relationships that weaken your purpose, and thoughts that reduce your confidence. Leave behind anything that asks you to settle for less than you are capable of becoming. The day you stop protecting a small life is the day your real transformation begins. That is how you become someone who is impossible to compare with the person you used to be. Chapter 3. Change what you do every single day. The quality of your life is hidden inside the ordinary things you do every single day. People often search for one big answer that will suddenly change everything, but life rarely works that way. The direction of your future is decided by small actions repeated again and again. If those actions never change, your results will not change either. It does not matter how badly you want a different life if your daily routine continues to produce the same outcome. Desire without new behavior only creates frustration. Many people wake up believing they need more motivation. What they really need is a better pattern. Motivation comes and goes. Some mornings you feel excited, other mornings you feel slow and distracted. If your progress depends on how you feel, you will move forward one day and backward the next. A strong life is built on habits that continue even when your emotions are quiet. There are days when your energy will be low, but your standards must remain high. Take an honest look at one normal day. Notice how you spend the first hour after waking up. Notice what you think about during lunch. Notice how you use your evenings. These moments seem small because they happen every day, but that is exactly why they matter. Every repeated action teaches your mind what kind of person you are becoming. Your brain is always paying attention. It remembers what you practice far more than what you promise. If you spend hours avoiding important work, your mind begins to believe that avoiding difficulty is normal. If you regularly finish what you start, your mind slowly accepts that discipline is part of your identity. That is why daily behavior is so powerful. You are not only completing tasks, you are training yourself to become a different person. Start making changes where they are easiest to control. Read a few pages before checking your phone. Walk outside instead of sitting for another hour. Write your goals before your day becomes busy. Eat food that gives your body energy instead of choosing what is only convenient. Go to bed knowing exactly what tomorrow requires. None of these actions are complicated. Their power comes from repetition. not from perfection. Many people fail because they try to change everything at once. They create a long list of impossible promises and then feel disappointed when they cannot maintain them. Real progress grows in a different way. Choose one improvement and protect it until it becomes natural. Then build another. A strong foundation is always built one layer at a time. There will be moments when you feel like nothing is happening. You may work hard for weeks without seeing obvious results. That is the point where most people stop. They believe effort should immediately produce rewards. Life does not always respond that quickly. Your character is growing long before your circumstances begin to show it. Stay patient with the process. The work you do today is preparing you for opportunities you cannot yet see. Another important change is learning to stop negotiating with yourself. Every time you say you will do something and then talk yourself out of it, you weaken your own trust. Your mind begins to question whether your words have value. On the other hand, every promise you keep strengthens your confidence. Confidence is not created by compliments. It is created when your actions prove that your word means something. Be careful about the little choices that seem harmless. 10 extra minutes of delay can become an hour. One unnecessary purchase can become a habit of wasting money. One skipped responsibility can become a pattern of unfinished work. Small decisions rarely stay small because they influence the next decision you make. Success and failure both grow quietly through repeated choices. There is also great value in reviewing your day before you go to sleep. Ask yourself simple questions. What did I do well today? Where did I waste time? What should I improve tomorrow? Honest reflection helps you notice patterns that would otherwise remain hidden. You cannot improve what you refuse to examine. Your future does not need a perfect version of you. It needs a consistent one. Keep showing up. Keep making better choices than yesterday. Keep replacing one weak habit with one useful habit. Over time, those ordinary actions begin to change your thinking, your confidence, your relationships, and your opportunities. One day, people will notice that you respond differently, speak differently, manage your time differently, and carry yourself with greater purpose. They will wonder what happened. The answer will be simple. You stopped waiting for a different life to arrive, and you started changing what you did every single day. That quiet decision reshaped your mind, strengthened your discipline, and built a future that once seemed impossible. Real transformation is never hidden inside one extraordinary moment. It is built through ordinary days that are lived with uncommon intention. Chapter 4. Ignore every voice that pulls you back. One of the greatest tests you will ever face is not whether you have talent. It is whether you can stay committed while people around you question your choices. Every person who decides to grow discovers something surprising. The moment you begin changing, new voices appear. Some speak with doubt. Some speak with fear. Some speak with good intentions. Others simply cannot understand why you refuse to stay the same. If you listen to every opinion, you will spend your life walking in circles instead of moving forward. There are people who will tell you to be realistic. Sometimes what they really mean is to stay where you are because your growth makes them uncomfortable. There are people who will remind you of your past mistakes as if your future has already been decided. There are people who laugh at your new goals because they stopped believing in their own a long time ago. None of these voices have the right to choose the direction of your life. That choice belongs to you. The hardest voice to ignore is often not coming from another person. It comes from your own mind. It reminds you of every failure. It asks whether you are good enough. It tells you that someone else is smarter, faster, younger, older, luckier, or more qualified. That voice sounds convincing because it knows your history. But your history is not your future. Your future is created by the decisions you make from this day forward. Every successful person has learned an important lesson. Not every thought deserves attention. Your mind produces thousands of thoughts every day. Some help you grow. Others try to protect you from discomfort by convincing you to stay where you are. Wisdom is learning which thoughts deserve your energy and which ones should simply pass without control over your actions. Think about how many dreams disappear because someone heard one negative comment. A person starts a business idea, then quits after one friend laughs. Someone begins learning a new skill, then stops because another person says it is too late. Someone decides to improve their health, then gives up after hearing criticism instead of encouragement. A single opinion should never have more power than your own vision. Do not misunderstand this message. Good advice has value. There are people who genuinely care about you and want to help you avoid unnecessary mistakes. Listen carefully to those who have earned your respect through wisdom, character, and experience. But never allow careless opinions from people who have never built the life you want to shape your future. Advice should guide you, not control you. There will be seasons when progress is invisible. During those moments, doubt becomes louder. Your own mind may begin asking whether the effort is worth it. This is where character is tested. Character is not revealed when everything is easy. Character is revealed when you continue, even though the results have not arrived yet. Patience is not passive. Patience is choosing to remain faithful to the work while waiting for the reward to catch up. Protect your attention because your attention becomes your direction. If you spend every day reading criticism, comparing yourself with others, and searching for approval, your confidence slowly disappears. If you spend your time learning, practicing, improving, and serving others well, your confidence grows naturally because it is built on evidence instead of opinion. Notice how strong people respond to discouragement. They do not waste hours trying to win every argument. They do not stop working just because someone misunderstands them. They remain focused on what matters most. They understand that every minute spent defending themselves is a minute not spent building the future they desire. Quiet progress is often more powerful than loud explanations. There is another voice that deserves your attention. It is the quiet reminder inside you that says, you were created for more than repeating the same year over and over again. That voice encourages responsibility. It asks you to develop your abilities instead of hiding them. It pushes you to become dependable, disciplined, and trustworthy. Listen to that voice because it leads you toward growth instead of comfort. As your life changes, some relationships may also change. That does not always mean people are bad. Sometimes your priorities simply become different. Respect people, treat them with kindness, and wish them well, but never trade your purpose for temporary acceptance. Real friends will appreciate your growth instead of feeling threatened by it. One day, the same people who questioned your commitment may notice your consistency. They will see the calm confidence in the way you carry yourself. They will see the results that came from years of quiet effort. By then, their opinions will matter far less because your life will be speaking louder than any words ever could. Keep your eyes on the destination you have chosen. Guard your mind against fear, distraction, and unnecessary noise. Give your best attention to actions that move you forward. When you stop allowing every outside voice to decide your next step, you begin living with freedom. That freedom becomes strength, and that strength becomes part of the new person you are creating. In time, people will not remember the doubts that surrounded your beginning. They will remember the remarkable person you became because you refused to let those voices pull you back. Chapter 5. Force yourself to live by new rules. There comes a point when wishing for a better life is no longer enough. You must begin living by a different standard. Every meaningful change starts with new rules. Not rules forced on you by other people, but rules you choose because you finally understand that your future depends on them. The life you want cannot be built with the same thinking and the same behavior that created the life you are trying to leave behind. Most people already know what they should do. They know they should be more disciplined with their time. They know they should take better care of their health. They know they should manage their money wisely. They know they should finish what they start. Knowledge is rarely the problem. The challenge is making those principles non-negotiable. That is the difference between interest and commitment. Interested people act when it is easy. Committed people act because they have decided that their standards are more important than their moods. Create rules that protect your future instead of your comfort. Decide that you will finish important work before entertainment. Decide that you will keep learning even after a long day. Decide that you will tell the truth even when it costs you something. Decide that you will arrive prepared instead of hoping everything works out. These rules may seem simple, but simple rules followed every day produce uncommon results. One reason people stay stuck is because they keep changing their standards to match the moment. When they feel energetic, they work hard. When they feel tired, they lower their expectations. When life becomes busy, they abandon the habits that were helping them grow. A person who keeps changing the rules will never create lasting progress. Strong character is built by keeping the same standards on both good days and difficult days. There will be moments when nobody knows whether you stayed true to your principles. You will have opportunities to take shortcuts. You will have chances to make excuses that nobody can prove are excuses. Those private moments reveal who you are becoming. Integrity is not something you display only when people are watching. Integrity is choosing the right action because you respect yourself enough to live honestly. Do not wait until success arrives before you begin acting like a responsible person. Responsibility comes first. Success often follows it. Treat your time with care. Speak with purpose instead of complaining about every problem. Pay attention to the promises you make. If you tell yourself you will complete something today, honor that promise. Every time you do, you strengthen the relationship you have with yourself. Self-respect grows when your actions match your words. There is another rule worth building into your life. Stop expecting every day to feel exciting. Many worthwhile things become meaningful because you continue long after the excitement fades. A parent caring for a family, a craftsman improving a skill, a student preparing for a better future. All of them discover that consistency matters more than temporary emotion. The people who accomplish remarkable things are often the people who continue doing ordinary work with extraordinary faithfulness. Choose your words carefully. Stop saying, "I will try." Replace it with, "I will do my best and finish what I started." Stop saying, "Maybe someday." Replace it with, "Today is the day I begin." Language shapes attention. The way you speak to yourself influences the choices you make. Speak like someone who expects discipline, growth, and responsibility to become part of daily life. You also need rules about what you refuse to accept. Refuse to waste hours on things that leave you empty. Refuse to carry bitterness that steals your peace. Refuse to blame other people for every disappointment. Refuse to quit simply because progress is slower than you hoped. Every refusal creates room for something better. Every healthy boundary protects the person you are becoming. Do not compare your rules with someone else's life. Your journey is your own. Another person may wake up later than you and still succeed. Someone else may learn differently or work differently. Focus on the principles that move you toward your purpose. The goal is not to copy another life. The goal is to build one that reflects your highest values. As the months pass, these new rules begin changing more than your schedule. They change the way you think. You become calmer when problems appear because you know how to respond. You become more dependable because people can trust your word. You become more confident because you have evidence that you can rely on yourself. Those changes cannot be purchased. They are earned through daily obedience to the standards you have chosen. The remarkable thing about living by new rules is that they eventually stop feeling like rules. They become part of your character. You no longer have to force every good decision because the right choice becomes natural. That is when real transformation takes place. You are no longer pretending to be a disciplined person. You have become one. You are no longer hoping your life will improve. You are building that improvement through every decision you make. Day after day, those quiet choices shape a person who is stronger, wiser, more dependable, and more prepared than ever before. That is how an ordinary life becomes extraordinary, and that is how you force yourself to become truly unrecognizable. Chapter 6. Keep showing up when nobody believes you. There will be seasons in your life when nobody claps for your effort. Nobody notices the extra hours. Nobody sees the discipline it takes to keep moving forward. Nobody sends a message asking how your progress is going. Those seasons are not signs that you should stop. They are the moments that reveal whether your commitment is real or whether it only exists when someone is watching. Many people begin with excitement because the dream feels fresh. They tell everyone about their plans. They imagine quick results. Then reality arrives. The work becomes repetitive. Progress feels slower than expected. The encouragement becomes quieter. That is where many people disappear, not because they lacked ability, but because they depended on approval instead of purpose. You cannot build your future on other people's opinions. Their belief in you is valuable, but it is not required. If someone encourages you, appreciate it. If nobody encourages you, keep working anyway. The greatest responsibility you have is to become the kind of person who does not need constant reminders to stay committed. There may even be people who quietly expect you to fail, not because they hate you, but because your growth forces them to think about the changes they have avoided. When someone stays the same for years, another person's discipline can make them uncomfortable. Do not become angry. Do not waste your energy trying to prove them wrong. Your responsibility is not to win arguments. Your responsibility is to build a life that reflects your values. There will be mornings when you question yourself. You may wonder whether all this effort is leading anywhere. You may look at your bank account, your career, your goals, or your personal life and think that nothing has changed. Those thoughts are natural. Every person who has accomplished something worthwhile has faced moments of uncertainty. The difference is that they refuse to let uncertainty become an excuse for standing still. Understand something important about progress. Your life often changes from the inside before it changes on the outside. Long before people notice your success, your thinking becomes stronger. Your patience grows. Your ability to solve problems improves. Your confidence becomes quieter because it is no longer based on praise. Those inner victories prepare you for the outer opportunities that come later. Do not measure every day by dramatic results. Measure it by honest effort. Ask yourself simple questions before you go to sleep. Did I become a little wiser today? Did I keep my word today? Did I use my time with purpose? Did I make one decision that moved me closer to the life I want? Those questions matter because they focus on what you can control instead of what you cannot. Remember that every expert was once unknown. Every respected leader was once overlooked. Every successful business started before anyone believed it would succeed. Every meaningful achievement begins in a place where recognition does not exist. If you quit during that stage, you never give your future the opportunity to appear. Protect yourself from comparing your beginning with someone else's middle. Social media often shows finished results without showing the years of effort behind them. You may see someone's success today without seeing the sacrifices they made when nobody was paying attention. Comparison steals gratitude. Comparison steals focus. Your task is not to compete with another person's timeline. Your task is to become better than you were last month, last week, and yesterday. Keep your promises even when nobody checks on you. Read when nobody asks what you are learning. Practice your skill when there is no audience. Save money when nobody knows what you are setting aside. Improve your health because you value your future, not because someone compliments your appearance. These private decisions build public results. One day, people may suddenly say that you changed overnight. They will notice your confidence, your discipline, your wisdom, and your success. What they will not see are the hundreds of ordinary days that made those changes possible. They will not remember the evenings when you chose growth instead of comfort. They will not know how many times you wanted to stop, but continued anyway. That hidden work becomes the foundation of everything they admire later. Do not become discouraged by silence. Silence is often where strength is developed. Continue learning even when nobody congratulates you. Continue preparing even when opportunities have not arrived yet. Continue believing in the value of honest work, even when the reward seems delayed. Your consistency is shaping a future that cannot be rushed. The day will come when your results begin speaking for you. Until then, keep showing up. Show up with discipline instead of excuses. Show up with patience instead of frustration. Show up with gratitude instead of complaints. Show up because you made a decision about the kind of person you are becoming. The people around you may not understand your journey today, but they do not need to. Your responsibility is not to collect belief from others. Your responsibility is to become so faithful to your purpose that one day your life becomes the proof that perseverance always has value. That is how ordinary people become extraordinary, and that is how you continue becoming someone the world barely recognizes. Chapter 7. Do things your old self always avoided. There is a simple question that can change your entire life. What is the one thing you keep avoiding? That question deserves an honest answer, because the life you want is often waiting on the other side of the task you continue to postpone. Every person has something they know they should do, yet they keep finding reasons to delay it. They avoid making the phone call, learning the new skill, having the difficult conversation, applying for the opportunity, or taking the first step. Then they wonder why nothing feels different. Life rarely changes while avoidance stays in control. Your old self has a pattern. It moves toward what feels familiar and away from what feels uncomfortable. It looks for reasons to wait instead of reasons to begin. It says, tomorrow will be a better day. It believes there will be more time later. But later has a strange habit of never arriving. Weeks become months, months become years. One day, you realize you have spent more time thinking about change than actually changing. If you truly want to become unrecognizable, you must stop asking what feels easy. Start asking what will help you grow. Those are two very different questions. Easy choices protect the person you are today. Growth choices build the person you are trying to become. Every meaningful improvement begins with a decision that feels uncomfortable in the moment, but valuable in the future. Many people think confidence comes first. They believe they must feel ready before taking action. That is not how confidence is built. Confidence grows after you face something you once avoided. The first conversation may feel awkward. The first presentation may make your hands shake. The first workout may leave you exhausted. The first attempt may not go the way you hoped. None of that means you are failing. It means you are finally stepping into a place where improvement becomes possible. Think about all the opportunities fear has already taken from people. Someone stayed silent instead of sharing an idea that could have changed their career. Someone refused to learn because they were afraid of looking inexperienced. Someone stayed in the same situation for years because leaving felt uncertain. Fear does not always shout. Most of the time it quietly says, stay where you are. It is safer. But a safe life is not always a fulfilled life. Your future depends on your willingness to become a beginner again. Every new skill starts with mistakes. Every successful person once knew very little. They asked questions. They practiced. They improved one step at a time. They did not allow temporary embarrassment to become a permanent excuse. There is no shame in starting small. The only real loss is refusing to start at all. Another habit your old self may have carried is avoiding responsibility. It is easy to blame circumstances, difficult people, bad timing, or past experiences. Those things may have made life harder, but they do not have to decide what happens next. The strongest moment in a person's life is when they stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I do now? That question opens the door to action instead of helplessness. Do not wait until every condition is perfect. Perfect conditions rarely exist. Begin with what you have. Use the knowledge you already possess. Improve the skills that are already in your hands. Progress belongs to people who keep moving, not to people who keep waiting. Every day you delay is another day your old habits become stronger. Every day you act is another day your new identity becomes more real. There will be moments when your mind tries to pull you back into familiar behavior. It will remind you how uncomfortable change feels. It will suggest taking the easier path just this once. That is the moment to pause and make a better choice. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you weaken the control your old habits once had over your life. Little by little, those habits lose their influence because you stop feeding them. Do not expect every victory to be dramatic. Sometimes the greatest victory is simply doing what you promised yourself you would do, finishing the work you wanted to avoid, reading one more chapter instead of wasting another hour, speaking honestly instead of staying silent, taking care of your health when excuses seem easier. Those ordinary victories slowly create an extraordinary person. One day you will notice something remarkable. The things that once felt impossible no longer frighten you. The conversations become easier. The discipline becomes stronger. The excuses become quieter. The person who once hesitated at every challenge has been replaced by someone who responds with courage and responsibility. That change does not happen in a single moment. It happens because you repeatedly chose the actions your old self always avoided. Keep choosing those actions. Keep walking toward the work that stretches your character. Keep saying yes to responsibility and no to unnecessary delay. Every difficult decision you make today becomes evidence that you are no longer controlled by the person you used to be. That is the real meaning of transformation. You are not simply changing what you accomplish. You are changing who you become, until one day the old version of you feels like someone you no longer recognize. Chapter 8. Become too busy to stay the same. One of the biggest reasons people stay the same has nothing to do with a lack of talent. It has everything to do with empty space. When your days have no purpose, your old habits quickly fill the time. When your schedule has no direction, distractions become your daily routine. If you truly want to become unrecognizable, you cannot leave your future to chance. You must become so committed to building a better life that your old lifestyle no longer has room to survive. Think about what happens when you have nothing planned. Your phone becomes more interesting. Small problems become bigger than they really are. You spend time thinking instead of doing. Hours disappear without anything meaningful being finished. At the end of the day, you feel tired, yet you cannot point to anything that moved your life forward. That feeling slowly steals your confidence, because deep inside, you know you are capable of much more. Now imagine a different kind of day. You wake up knowing exactly what needs your attention. You have work to finish, books to read, skills to improve, people to serve, and goals that deserve your effort. Suddenly, there is less time for excuses. There is less time to complain. There is less time to worry about what other people think, because your energy is invested in creating something valuable. A focused life leaves very little room for unnecessary noise. Being busy does not mean filling every hour with random activity. Many people stay busy all day and still make no progress. The kind of busyness that changes your life is intentional. Every task should have a purpose. Every hour should move you a little closer to the person you want to become. Ask yourself a simple question before starting anything important. Does this help build my future, or is it only helping me avoid responsibility? That one question can completely change the way you spend your time. Your old self probably had habits that quietly stole hours every week. Watching one more video, scrolling for another 30 minutes, putting off an important task because it felt uncomfortable, saying yes to things that did not matter and no to the things that truly did. Those habits seem harmless in the moment, but over months and years they become expensive. They cost opportunities, growth, peace of mind, and self-respect. Successful people understand something that others often miss. Time is not simply passing. Time is becoming your life. Every hour you spend becomes part of the person you are creating. If you waste enough hours, you eventually wonder where your potential went. If you invest enough hours wisely, you eventually discover strengths you never knew you had. Do not wait until you feel inspired to become productive. Create a routine that helps you move, even on ordinary days. Decide when you will learn. Decide when you will exercise. Decide when you will work on your biggest goal. Decide when you will rest so you can return with energy. A planned life removes many of the daily decisions that often lead people back into old habits. There is another benefit to staying focused on meaningful work. Your mind becomes healthier. When people have no clear direction, they often spend too much time worrying about things they cannot control. They replay old conversations. They imagine problems that have not happened. They compare themselves with everyone else. Purpose has a remarkable way of reducing unnecessary worry because your attention is directed toward action instead of endless thinking. Do not confuse movement with progress. Answering messages all day is not always progress. Attending meetings without preparation is not always progress. Staying occupied from morning until night is not always progress. Real progress happens when your daily actions are connected to a clear goal. That is why planning matters. Know what deserves your best effort before the day begins. Protect the best hours of your day. Give your strongest energy to the work that has the greatest value. Too many people spend their best hours on distractions and leave their dreams for the moments when they are already exhausted. Reverse that pattern. Give your future the first and best part of your attention. The smaller tasks can wait. Your most important work should not. There will still be difficult days. There will be moments when you feel tired or discouraged. On those days, do not stop completely. Even if your progress is smaller than usual, continue moving. Read one page. Make one phone call. Complete one important task. Small action keeps momentum alive. Stopping entirely makes it much harder to begin again. As you continue living with purpose, something unexpected begins to happen. Your conversations change because your priorities have changed. Your confidence grows because you see yourself following through. Your decisions become clearer because you know what matters most. The habits that once controlled you slowly lose their influence because they no longer fit the life you are building. One day, someone may ask what changed. They may think you discovered a secret that they have not found yet. The truth is much simpler. You stopped giving your time away to things that kept you average. You became fully engaged in becoming better every single day. You became so committed to meaningful work, personal growth, and responsible living that the old version of you simply could not survive. That is how real transformation happens. You become too busy building the future you want to keep living in the past you are trying to leave behind. Chapter 9. Turn every small win into a new you. Most people are waiting for one big moment that will prove they have changed. They believe confidence arrives after a major success, a promotion, a business breakthrough, or a dramatic life event. But life has a different lesson. The person you become is not built by one extraordinary victory. It is built by hundreds of small victories that slowly change the way you see yourself. If you want to become unrecognizable, you must learn to treat every small win as evidence that you are becoming a new person. Never underestimate what happens inside your mind when you keep one simple promise. You wake up when you planned to wake up. You finish the task you wanted to avoid. You choose patience instead of anger. You save money instead of spending it without thinking. You spend an hour improving yourself instead of losing that hour to distraction. These moments may seem ordinary, but your mind notices every one of them. It begins collecting proof that you are no longer the person who always quits or always delays. Many people ignore their progress because they are only looking at the finish line. They complete 10 good days, then become discouraged because they have not reached their biggest goal yet. They forget that 10 good days have already changed something important. Their thinking has improved. Their discipline has become stronger. Their self-respect has started growing. Progress is not only measured by what you achieve, it is also measured by who you are becoming while you work toward it. Be careful not to dismiss small victories simply because nobody celebrates them. The world may never notice that you kept your morning routine for 30 days. Nobody may know that you finally stopped wasting money on things you did not need. Very few people will see the evenings you spent studying while others were entertaining themselves. Those victories still matter because they are changing your character. Character grows quietly before success becomes visible. There is another reason small wins are so powerful. They replace old beliefs with new ones. A person who once believed, "I never finish anything," begins saying, "I can trust myself." A person who always thought, "I have no discipline," begins seeing proof that discipline is becoming part of daily life. Your identity is shaped by the evidence you repeatedly give yourself. Every responsible decision sends a message that says, "This is who I am now." Do not compare your small victories with another person's biggest achievement. That comparison steals joy and weakens motivation. Someone else's journey has nothing to do with the promises you need to keep today. Focus on your own progress. If you are stronger than you were last month, celebrate that growth. If your habits are healthier than they were last year, recognize that improvement. Every meaningful transformation begins with personal victories that may seem invisible to everyone else. There will also be days when you make mistakes. Do not allow one difficult day to erase 10 good ones. Too many people believe that one failure means they should give up completely. That way of thinking has destroyed countless dreams. A setback is simply one moment. It does not cancel the effort you have already invested. Learn from it, make the necessary adjustment, and continue moving. The goal is not perfection. The goal is steady improvement. Make it a habit to notice what you are doing well. At the end of the day, ask yourself what promise you kept. Maybe you handled pressure with greater patience. Maybe you finished an important responsibility without delaying it. Maybe you showed kindness when frustration would have been easier. Those are victories worth remembering because they strengthen the foundation of your future. Success leaves clues, and many of those clues are surprisingly small. Showing up on time, preparing before opportunities arrive, listening carefully instead of speaking without thinking, taking responsibility instead of making excuses, keeping your word when nobody would know if you broke it. These actions rarely attract attention, but they create a reputation that opens doors over time. People trust those who consistently do the right thing, even in ordinary situations. As your confidence grows, do not become satisfied too quickly. Every victory should inspire the next one. If you have built one healthy habit, build another. If you have become more disciplined with your time, strengthen your relationships. If you have improved your finances, continue learning about wise decisions. Growth is not a destination. It is a way of living that keeps revealing new possibilities. One day you will realize that the person standing in the mirror thinks differently, responds differently, and carries life differently than before. That change did not happen because of one remarkable event. It happened because you respected every small victory instead of ignoring it. You allowed each responsible choice to shape your identity. You turned every completed task, every wise decision, every honest effort, and every promise kept into another piece of the person you were creating. That is how lasting transformation happens. You stop waiting for one dramatic breakthrough to define your life. Instead, you build your future one meaningful choice at a time. Every small win becomes another reason to believe in yourself. Every small win becomes another step away from the person you used to be. Every small win becomes another part of a new identity, until one day the change is so complete that even you can hardly recognize the life you once lived. Chapter 10. Wake up as someone nobody expected. There is a powerful moment that very few people ever experience. It is the moment you wake up and realize you no longer think like the person you used to be. The same challenges still exist. Life is still asking you to be responsible. Difficult days still arrive, but something inside you has changed. You respond with more patience. You make decisions with greater wisdom. You protect your time instead of wasting it. You no longer wait for life to become easier because you have become stronger. That is the day you begin living as someone nobody expected. The greatest surprise is never proving other people wrong. The greatest surprise is proving to yourself that you were capable of much more than you once believed. There was a time when you doubted your ability. There was a time when you delayed important decisions. There was a time when fear spoke louder than purpose. Those days do not have to define the rest of your life. Your past may explain where you started, but it does not have permission to decide where you finish. Many people spend years trying to change their circumstances while ignoring the person they are becoming. They hope a better job will solve everything. They hope more money will remove every struggle. They hope one lucky opportunity will finally change their life. Those things can certainly help, but lasting success begins long before any reward appears. It begins with becoming dependable when nobody is checking on you. It begins with choosing honesty when dishonesty seems easier. It begins with respecting your own standards every single day. Never forget that people usually remember who you used to be. They remember your old habits, your old fears, your old mistakes, and your old limitations. That is natural because they have not lived inside your daily effort. They have not seen the quiet mornings when you chose discipline. They have not witnessed the evenings when you continued learning after a long day. They have not felt the inner battles you fought and won. Do not become frustrated if they take time to recognize your growth. Continue becoming the person you know you are creating. There is something deeply satisfying about earning your own respect. Praise from others feels good, but it never lasts forever. Self-respect is different. It stays with you because it is built on evidence. You know the promises you kept. You know the temptations you resisted. You know the responsibilities you accepted without complaining. That quiet confidence cannot be taken away because it was earned through character, not through applause. As your life improves, remain humble. Growth should make you more grateful, not more proud. Remember the days when simple decisions felt difficult. Remember the lessons that came from disappointment. Remember the people who encouraged you when your progress was still invisible. Gratitude protects your heart from becoming careless. It reminds you that every opportunity is a gift that deserves your best effort. Do not allow success to become the reason you stop improving. One achievement should inspire the next level of responsibility. Keep reading, keep learning, keep listening. Keep asking yourself how you can become more useful to your family, your community, your work, and the people who depend on you. A meaningful life is not built by collecting achievements alone. It is built by becoming a person whose presence makes life better for others. There will always be another lesson to learn. There will always be another habit to strengthen. There will always be another opportunity to show kindness, wisdom, patience, and discipline. Growth has no finish line because your potential keeps expanding every time you choose responsibility over convenience. The moment you believe you have nothing left to improve is the moment progress begins to slow. When you look back on this journey, you may discover that the biggest victories were not the things you once imagined. It may not be the amount of money you earned or the title you received. It may be the fact that your family trusts your word. It may be the peace you feel when you go to bed knowing you lived with integrity. It may be the confidence that comes from facing life honestly instead of running from it. Those rewards cannot be measured by numbers, yet they become some of the richest parts of a meaningful life. Every chapter of your life has been preparing you for this moment. You decided to leave behind the habits that held you back. You changed the way you spent your days. You stopped allowing doubt to control your future. You accepted higher standards for yourself. You continued when recognition was absent. You faced the work you once avoided. You filled your time with purpose. You respected every small step forward. Piece by piece, you built a different identity. Now the responsibility is simple. Protect the person you have become. Do not drift back into careless habits simply because life becomes comfortable again. Continue choosing what is right over what is easy. Continue keeping your word. Continue growing even when nobody notices. Continue living in a way that makes your future stronger than your past. One morning you will wake up, look at your life, and realize something remarkable. You are no longer searching for the person you hope to become because you have become that person. Your thinking is different. Your habits are different. Your priorities are different. Your character is stronger. Your confidence is quieter. Your purpose is clearer. The life you once believed was out of reach has become your new normal. People may wonder how such a dramatic change happened. You will know the answer. It happened through thousands of ordinary choices made with extraordinary commitment. That is how an ordinary person becomes uncommon. That is how you wake up as someone nobody expected, including the person you used to be.